flew out to Arizona State and met with Brock Osweiler, and clearly they saw something in Osweiler they liked, because now they brought in Osweiler to sit on the bench while Peyton Manning comes in and takes over the starting quarterback job.
Yes, Adam, but even before they signed Peyton Manning, I knew they were going to land Peyton Manning. They had a fascination with Osweiler, I was told, in part because he's a young man, even though he hasn't had a lot of starts, he's got a pretty high level of confidence, self-confidence, and they felt he could withstand Tebow mania, that he had the type of attitude, you could say arrogance, to go ahead and compete against Tim Tebow. So even if Tebow had been there, Osweiler, I believe, would be a Bronco.
Far be it from me to argue with a Hall of Famer like John Elway. He's forgotten more about quarterback play than I know. But the height gives me pause. No one at that height has played well in a long, long time. You have to go back to Dan McGuire, who was not a tremendous success in this league. He's inexperienced, and that shows up in some decision-making. So this is a developmental guy. Obviously, John feels he can develop him, and that's good enough, but there are concerns.
Brock Osweiler goes to the Denver Broncos in the second round with the 57th overall pick.
Adam and gentlemen, it might be that Osweiler is a project. This man is not. Some people, me, say he's the best quarterback prospect since John Elway. An athletic Peyton Manning, now going to Peyton Manning's old stomping grounds. Andrew Luck spent some time in Indianapolis and leads off #1 picks talking.
You know, I know I'll work my butt off to try and make sure that the team is in a position to win, you know, win as many games as it can, and I can't wait to get with the guys.
Once I got that call, it's just like everything came back to me, all the hard work I put into it, all the time that I put into it, and just looking at my family, knowing that they're the biggest Cowboys fans ever, and just looking at their face, and it just made me tear up.
Being 28 years old is an advantage for me. I use it as an advantage because my body's still fresh. I still have a lot of football left in my tank. And so I think, you know, I never really saw any negatives on it because I have to answer the question all the time.
I think big shoes may be an understatement. You know, what he did is obviously legendary, you know, for this city, for the state, really. You know, and I know if I woke up every morning trying to compare myself to Peyton, I think I'd go crazy.
Like I told my mom when I was 7 years old, I dreamed that I was getting drafted somewhere, and it's like a dream come true. So I've been working hard since I was 7.
To be a part of this tradition that they have here with these great running backs they have had here, and try to make, you know, a name for myself is going to be big. And I got a lot of respect to earn, and I got a lot to prove.
I mean, it's something that you got to do. I mean, you still got to play football. You still got to go out there and put your cleats on, and it's still football. It's just cold outside.
I'm not trying to come in here and step on nobody's toes. I want the veterans to teach me everything that I know, and, you know, if the coaches feel like that I'm mature enough and I know the right things, maybe I'll touch the field.
Get a kick out of the way that hat sits on top of Dre's head, don't you?
Sitting a little high there.
Well, Dre Kirkpatrick and all those other first-round draft choices, all winning contestants on the latest Smash reality show called Hugging Roger Goodell. That was first round, second and third rounds in the book. Tonight, we go back to New York now and Chris Berman.
All right, thank you so much at Radio City Music Hall, where so many stars have played. 300 million people have come in this place, almost 80 years. We saw in days 1 and 2, 7 quarterbacks get drafted, and obviously the draft is not done. Welcome again. This is Mel Kiper. This is Todd McShay. This is John Gruden. I'm Chris Berman. The quarterbacks that went, you know about 1-2. That was, you knew about that quite a while ago, with Luck and Griffin going 1-2, and Tannehill 8 to Miami, and Brandon Weeden to the Cleveland Browns with their second first-round pick. What happened in day 2, of course, is Brock Osweiler went to back up Peyton Manning at Denver. Russell Wilson, selected by Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks in the third round, and Andy Reid going to long ball throwing Nick Foles from Arizona. So we have 7 gone. We got 4 more rounds. We'll see. Mel, take a look at, well, Osweiler, look, the beauty is he ain't playing.
It's old school. It's going back to the days when you could develop a quarterback. Peyton Manning's there, learn from the master, wait 3 years, then be the guy. It worked very well for Aaron Rodgers. That's what Osweiler, forget about the red zone, 45%. It's not going to matter. Watch Peyton Manning attack the red zone very effectively. Osweiler maybe could have used another year in college. That's why he's a late second-round pick. They probably figured we got value. He'd have been a first-round pick next year for sure. So I think for the Denver Broncos, it's a good fit because he has time to watch and learn Peyton Manning do the job. And in 3 years, maybe, Todd, God, he's got a chance to be the starter in Denver.
I wasn't up here yesterday, Mel, so I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about Ryan Tannehill and the fit that he is in Miami. I thought it was a great pick at number 8. I think Tannehill has all the intangibles and the physical tools to fit in perfectly in the system. And I also think when you look at him, he understands what is expected of him in this offense, and you know that he knows the verbiage and he can step in right away. I think that they want to run 80, 90 plays. Mike Sherman's the new coordinator, who's the head coach at Texas A&M. Joe Philbin has that West Coast system, brings it from Green Bay. I think it's going to help him in his development and advancement. I think Tannehill's a great fit with the Dolphins.
I like Russell Wilson. I want to put an exclamation point on that. He's going to the Seattle Seahawks, and he's going to play in a West Coast system under Darrell Bevell, much like the system he played in and flourished in at North Carolina State. He's going to take this personal. I know he's not 6 feet tall. He's just under 5'11", but I've seen him function behind big linemen at Wisconsin and big linemen at NC State. He's the guy I'm really rooting for. If anybody can do it, Russell Wilson can do it under 6 foot.
I'm going to go back to day one a little bit with Brandon Weeden. Everyone, 28, he's going to be 29 in October. Forget that. There's maturity that you are getting and a bigger time arm that they've had in Colt McCoy. I mean, Colt McCoy, it doesn't mean he's going to be dealt immediately or anything like that. But I think come September or before that, we'll see that Brandon Weeden is expected to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns on a team that woefully needs offense. And they got Trent Richardson, and his maturity is what will serve him in a division where the other 3 teams made the playoffs. So you don't get picked in the first round just hoping. That's a change there in Cleveland. Now, we got some left. Mel?
We do, and I think these guys could have, obviously, you think about where Kirk Cousins could have been very easily 2nd or 3rd round. He's available on day 3 now. Round 4 will be a nice pick at that point. Then we get into guys who are expected to be day 3 possibilities. Late round picks, G.J. Kinney, Tulsa, B.J. Coleman, Chattanooga. Those were transfers from major programs. Kinney came from Texas. Coleman came from Tennessee. Chandler Harness did a good job in the Mid-American Conference, but they're late round possibilities.
Just wrapping things up, I thought the Rams had to do a good job today with all those picks, and they did. When you look at it, Brian Quick, the wide receiver out of Appalachian State, Janoris Jenkins, the cornerback from Florida, then North Alabama, Isaiah Peed, a versatile running back, and then Trumaine Johnson, another good cornerback with size out of Montana.
A couple guys left on the board I like. Orson Charles, a tight end at Georgia. Lamar Miller, running back at Miami, Florida, can fly. And those 2 guys are coming off the board, I think, quickly tomorrow.
And a guy that set a record in college that may never be broken. 50 wins. Kellen Moore, quarterback, Boise State. Draft him, you'll be happy. We're happy to continue the draft on ESPN at noon Eastern here at Radio City Music Hall. Trey Wingo and the gang. And it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to talk about football in April. You know, what are you guys doing the draft for in the early 80s? This is